the mysterious book that explains what happens when we die. On a small street, hidden deep within the heart of London, there was an old bookstore named Mortis et Veritas, meaning death and truth. Few knew about this place, and those who had set foot inside all felt an eerie atmosphere, as if an invisible force was watching them. One cold, rainy day, Thomas Elric, a theologian and philosopher, stumbled upon this bookstore. He was searching for materials for his new book when an old man, frail and with deep, piercing eyes that seemed to look into one's soul, approached him. "You've come here seeking the truth, haven't you?" the old man rasped. Before Thomas could reply, the man placed a worn, leather-bound book in his hands. The title read, "Journey Through Death." The pages were yellowed, carrying the scent of time. But what made Thomas shudder was the inscription on the first page. "By opening this book, you shall witness the truth of the afterlife. But beware, for the truth may change your fate." The fateful chapters. That night in his quiet study, Thomas placed the book on his desk and began to read. The words did not just describe, but seemed to pull him into another world where death was no longer a mystery. The book revealed that immediately after death, every soul experiences 3 crucial stages. The final moment. When the soul leaves the body, the deceased can still perceive the physical world for a brief period before being drawn into the soul stream. The crossroads of fate. Here, the soul confronts its past actions. The righteous are guided towards a gateway of light, while the sinful are dragged into endless darkness. The ultimate choice. A special moment arises when the soul is given the option to either reincarnate or embark on a journey beyond the known afterlife. Each page of the book made Thomas not just read, but experience what the souls went through. He heard whispers echoing in his room, felt a presence behind him, and at times even caught glimpses of a shadow moving in the darkness. The warning. When he reached the final chapter, Thomas noticed something strange. The words were shifting. They no longer merely described the afterlife, but instead became a warning. You have seen too much. Your fate will now change. You must choose. At that moment, Thomas looked into the mirror across the room. But instead of his reflection, he saw a formless entity with glowing red eyes staring back at him. The candles in the room flickered out, and a voice emerged from the shadows. "You have uncovered knowledge that the living should not possess. Now you have 2 choices. Either keep this secret forever, or step into the world you have glimpsed." Thomas's heart pounded in terror, but before he could react, the book radiated an intense light. The final words burned into his mind. "The truth always comes at a price. Are you ready to pay it?" The final choice. A few days later, Mortis et Veritas shut its doors permanently. Thomas Elric was never seen again. But a rumor spread that if one ever found a hidden ancient bookstore and dared to open the book, Journey Through Death, they might hear the voice of a man whispering from the darkness. Are you ready for the truth?
The Prophecy of Saint Malachy, a mysterious revelation about the popes. Throughout the history of Christianity, many prophecies have foretold the future of the Church, but few are as controversial and enigmatic as the prophecy of Saint Malachy. Believed to have emerged in the 12th century, this prophecy presents a cryptic list of popes from that time until the end of the world. But is this a precise prediction, or merely a legend designed to shake the faith of believers? Let us delve into the labyrinth of this prophecy to uncover the hidden truths within. Who was Saint Malachy? Saint Malachy, 1094, 1148, was the Archbishop of Armagh, Ireland, renowned for his strict monastic life and the miracles attributed to him. It is said that in 1139, during a visit to Rome, Malachy experienced a strange vision of all the future popes, from Pope Celestine II, who reigned from 1143 to 1144, to the final pope. He then wrote down a list of 112 short phrases, each representing a pope. Mysterious predictions and astonishing coincidences. St. Malachy's list does not explicitly state the names of the popes, but rather provides concise phrases describing them. Strangely, many of these descriptions eerily match the characteristics or circumstances of later popes. For instance, Pastor Angelicus, angelic shepherd, believed to refer to Pope Pius XIII, 1939-1958, who was known for his piety and diplomatic efforts during World War II. De Medietate Lunae, from the half of the moon, refers to Pope John Paul I, 1978, whose papacy lasted only 33 days, the length of a lunar cycle. Gloria Olivae, the glory of the olive, related to Pope Benedict XVI, who belonged to the Benedictine order, symbolized by the olive tree. These coincidences have led many to believe that St. Malachy's prophecy is genuinely accurate, though some scholars question its authenticity. Petrus Romanus, the last pope. The most striking aspect of this list is the final pope, Petrus Romanus, Peter the Roman. According to the prophecy, he will lead the church through a period of great persecution before the city of seven hills, Rome, is destroyed, and the Lord judges his people. This strongly implies the end of times. The current pope, Francis, is not explicitly labeled as Petrus Romanus, but since he is the 266th pope and St. Malachy's list only contains 112 popes, many speculate that he might be the last pope or signify a new era for the church. Truth or mere legend? Despite its allure, many scholars doubt the authenticity of this prophecy. The list did not become publicly known until 1595, over 400 years after St. Malachy's death. Some believe it was fabricated in the 16th century for political purposes during a papal election. Moreover, the descriptions of popes before the 16th century appear surprisingly accurate, while those after are more vague and open to broad interpretation. This raises suspicions that the earlier part was written after the events had occurred, while the latter section was intentionally ambiguous. What does this prophecy mean for us? Whether true or not, St. Malachy's prophecy remains one of the most fascinating mysteries in the history of the Catholic Church. It provokes deep reflection on the Church's future, the challenges ahead, and whether the end of times is truly approaching as predicted. Perhaps instead of fearing it as a doomsday prophecy, we should view it as a reminder of the ever-changing world and the importance of faith during the most difficult times. What do you think? Are we living in the final days of the Church as prophesied, or is this merely a legend passed down through time? Share your thoughts.
Pope Francis, the man of mysteries. In the nearly 2,000-year history of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis has emerged as a symbol of renewal, humility, and bold reform. But beneath the white robes of power lies a man with untold stories, secrets never before revealed. He is not just a spiritual leader, but a figure whose life is full of twists and mysteries. Let's step into the world of Pope Francis, the Pope of miracles and enigmas. From the streets of Buenos Aires to the Vatican Palace, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the humble name of a boy born on the streets of Buenos Aires, Argentina. Few could have imagined that this boy, with a quiet childhood, would become the head of one of the world's largest religions. But even from a young age, Jorge displayed special qualities: sharp intelligence, deep compassion, and a heart constantly drawn to the poor. However, not many people know that before embarking on his path to priesthood, he once had a romantic relationship with a young woman. That woman once said that if Jorge had not become a priest, he would have been a wonderful husband. Destiny had other plans, leading Jorge to the throne of the papacy. Secrets of the past. Many are surprised to learn that Pope Francis once worked as a nightclub bouncer in his youth. This job taught him a lot about people, about how they live, yearn for freedom, and seek love. It was also during this time that Jorge acquired a skill few would expect: tango dancing. As a true Argentine, the artistic blood ran through his veins, and he was once an exceptional tango dancer. But fate was not kind to the future pope. In his early 20s, he suffered from a severe illness and had to have part of his lung removed. A person with only part of a lung would typically struggle with breathing. Yet miraculously, Francis continued to live, work, and dedicate himself tirelessly. Was this a divine sign of a special path meant for him? The Pope of Contradictions. When he assumed the highest position in the Church in 2013, Pope Francis immediately stunned the world. Instead of living in the luxurious Vatican Palace, he chose a modest room in the Domus Sanctae Marthae guest house. Instead of riding in a lavish car, he opted for an old vehicle. Instead of distancing himself from the people, he walked among them, embracing the sick and the poor. And here's another oddity. Despite being the head of the Vatican, Pope Francis does not use a smartphone or computer. He still writes by hand, makes calls on a landline, and maintains habits from a bygone era. This raises a question. Does he know something that we don't? Is modern technology incapable of replacing genuine human connection? Prophecies and a final mission. Some religious scholars believe that Pope Francis may be the last pope, according to an ancient prophecy. In the predictions of Saint Malachy, a 12th century saint, a list of popes was foretold, and Pope Francis is the final name on that list. What does this mean? Are we witnessing the final days of an era? Whether these predictions hold any truth or not, no one can deny that Pope Francis is bringing about a period of great transformation. He fearlessly challenges outdated traditions, stands up for truth and compassion, speaks out against injustice, advocates for environmental protection, and calls for peace in a world filled with turmoil. Conclusion: the man of mysteries. Pope Francis is not just a religious leader. He is a symbol of reform, kindness, and unexplained mysteries. His life is like an open book, yet there are still pages left unread. Will the mysteries surrounding him continue? Will the prophecy of the last pope come true? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Pope Francis has already changed the world in ways no one could have imagined. What do you think about the secrets of Pope Francis? Is he truly a unique pope? Share your thoughts below and stay tuned for more mysterious stories.